know, we've been through some 280 adventures together, but our bond has never been stronger.
Yep, our family is as functional as all get out.
Could this be the end of our series? Of events?
Terrific Tariq Lucy's. Since I'm in the process of making my own, I guess the idea behind how a lot of adult cartoons end has really been on my mind recently. So, here's a video about it. A lot of adult animation just kind of stops, bruh. Like, I never really noticed it. Lots of shows are really short-lived, maybe like a good 1 or 2 seasons. Maybe every once in a while they'll sneak in something a little cute when they find out that they're about to end. That's kind of the impression I got from the little thing they do at the end of Bless the Hearts. But yeah, man, if you love any of these shows, good luck with that closure shit. You better off watching kids cartoons. I started watching Mission Hill a few months ago and I stopped. Not because it was bad, that shit was actually hard as fuck. Super gas, if you will. No, I stopped because I was loving it too much and I know I'm gonna run out. But I think because of how often this happens is what makes actual adult animated finales seem like a really big deal. A lot of the time it's the episodic sitcoms that don't get a finale. They either run forever or they just cut off mad quick. I think niggas see this section of the genre as sort of disposable to a degree. Shows with through lines really have the really anticipated finales that really make it feel like the show went out with a bang. A show like BoJack Horseman got the rare finale season, where the idea of it being the ending just kind of lingers over your head for 10 episodes. The View from Halfway Down gets all the attention nowadays. It is a phenomenal episode that really sets up the finale really well, but the actual finale, Nice While It Lasted, really sticks that landing. You get these scenes with BoJack and everyone else in the cast. It's really gratifying to see how far the relationships have come by this point. If I had more time, I go over what this episode did for every character, but I don't. I wrote this very late, which is a joke I do a lot. I wonder what that says about me.
I need help!
I really like this bit with Todd. It's small and it's silly, but it is very him, and just the kind of stupid thing that really means something the more you think about it.
And I was thinking about my mom. And I feel like she doesn't really get me, but, she's trying. And a couple years ago, I never thought I would have any kind of relationship with her.
What changed?
I did, or she did, or, we are. It's like the song says, you do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. You turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
BoJack's conversation with Diane is really great too. The relationship is a huge part of the show, even down to them sitting on the roof together, like that's just a motif. That last shot is such a bold choice. They hang on this shot of them just sitting there, looking at the stars for so long as Mr. Blue plays. A big swing that really makes you feel it. Alright, let me get this shit off the screen before they fuck around and claim this goofy shit. I think one of the strongest adult animated finales is actually Home Movies, an underrated show with an even more underrated finale. It has Brendan and his friends getting negative feedback on their movies at test screenings.
One of the things I thought, well, let's start with character.
Okay.
Wrong! Just got it wrong!
I just got it wrong?
Nobody likes what they do. They fight while they're trying to put together an ending for a 5-year-old movie, yet they still feel like they should make movies. They have to. It's not because their work will make anyone happy. It's not for any audience or financial gain. It is just because they feel like they have to.
Honestly, I don't think our movies should be watched. All I know is this. We keep coming here after school every single day, and we just keep doing it. And then, I don't know, and then we just do it, and I guess it feels like we should just be doing it, I guess. I don't know. Weird.
And I always thought this was such a cool thematic way to close out this cartoon, because that's what creating at this age is. Or was, I don't know. This motherfucker's half my age making double my salary on TikTok.
Quit playing.
Robert.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me.
But at least when I was a kid, you just had to make stuff if you were creative. It was just in your DNA back then, and it probably still is.
Oh, no.
So what does everybody want to eat?
Pizza?
What about
Someplace with a
Chinese?
salad
Brendan,
bar.
you like
One of
Chinese?
those, like,
No,
all you
Italian
can
is
eat
definitely
salad bars.
Alright, shut up. Sorry I asked.
Today's video is brought to you again by Factor.
Let's eat!
Factors take the stress out of meal planning and set you right up for success. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietarian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and more. Factor now offers loads of snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juices, small bites, and more that keep me going no matter what's on my schedule. I was pleasantly surprised to see that they hooked me up with these smoothies and cold pressed juices. The smoothies were great, but the juices were the real standout. I ain't never tasted nothing like that before in my life. 10 out of 10, no notes. Matter of fact, the only note is that they should have sent me like 10 of these shits. I stand by everything I say in these ads. I love Factor, bruh. I wanna be with Factor.
I wanna have your baby. I'm trying to get you pregnant for the longest. Now you want. I know your mama.
Can't vibe on an empty stomach. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use promo code ToonerificTariq50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code TOONRIFICTARIQ50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. A lot of adult cartoons do what I like to call a safe finale. An episode that functions as a normal episode, nothing too out of the ordinary if they get more episodes, but something satisfying enough that it serves as a finale in case they don't. It's a real fine line to walk, and some do it really well. There was a point in time about 10 years ago when everybody thought The Simpsons was gonna end because of like contract stuff, believe it or not. Season 23's Holidays of Future Past, a Christmas episode with the family like 20 years into the future.
How would you like some future sex?
Why do you say future? This is now.
I never noticed they kind of just gave up on putting years to these future episodes. Good thing, because it is 2024 and I am still waiting for the British to save our asses in World War III.
That's true.
I think it's a really cute episode. Wouldn't have been the greatest finale in the world. It's definitely not as good as some of the stuff they would go on to do 10 years later, like Pixelated and Afraid or something. But I think, for what it's worth, it's a nice shot. Opening the show on present day Christmas and ending it on future Christmas would have been a really nice bow to tie on top of this thing. Oh, and in case you're not caught up on the lore, Homer apparently killed Maude and Edna, I guess.
It's so hard to find somebody new.
Sure is. That's why after Homer accidentally killed Edna, I married Maude's ghost.
There is no God, Nettie. It's just an empty, meaningless void.
Isn't she pretty?
Every time Futurama gets picked up for a new order, they always make sort of a safe finale based on the very big possibility that they will not be back. The Devil's Hands are idle playthings from season 4, a real favorite of mine.
You can't just have your characters announce how they feel. That makes me feel angry.
They got those 4 movies, Into the Wild Green Yonder was written as a possible ending. Probably ends with my favorite imagery out of all of these. They died, I think. I don't know. I can't remember season 6 anymore. Overclockwise was in the middle of the Comedy Central run. It's probably the one I think about the least out of all of these, but the moment with Fry and Leela reading their futures while reacting is very sweet. And there's Meanwhile from the end of that run, which was actually the finale for 10 years. But then they came back and cucked Hermes. I went back and forth for years about how I felt about Meanwhile. I think one thing that I always thought was really cool about Devil's Hands was that it was kind of just an episode. It had a big climax and an ending line that's a little on the nose if you knew this was the last episode.
Please don't stop playing, Fry. I want to hear how it ends.
Ah, fuck you, that's so good though. But Meanwhile, with its heavy tone in that last chunk, it always sort of felt like it screamed finale, and I didn't really know how I felt about that. But even if I'm right about that, I don't think that has anything to do with the actual quality, because it is a good episode, and the last line in this one is equally as emotionally gratifying as the one from Devil's Hands.
You mean we'll all get to live our lives over again? Of course. We won't remember anything that's happened. What do you say? Want to go around again?
I do.
I think the cool thing about Futurama is that no matter where you decide to call it, they all have their own things to appreciate. The heart of the show has always been Fry and his connection to Leela, and all of these make sure to make that a main focus. You do that, and you can never go wrong.
Stop! Take my hands, you evil metal dog!
Ooh, Jesus.
King of of the Hill, classic ending with To Sirloin With Love. A top 10 episode depending on who you ask, especially if that person is me. The pilot is about Hank's relationship with his son and their disconnect while trying to learn how to love each other. The finale is about Hank and Bobby finding that middle ground and connecting on multiple levels that they both see the same amount of value in. In the end, Hank reaches out for Bobby's hand for a handshake. And if you know anything about this character, this was a big deal. This nigga almost not voted because the candidate had a weak handshake. Hank now respects Bobby. He sees him as a man. And while the whole show is him slowly getting to that point, this moment right here is when it totally settles in. That boy is right, my nigga, just in his own way. In the last montage, legendary. Nancy goes to Dale for her headaches and not John Redcorn. We finally get to see what Boomhauer's job is. Everyone just like gathers and meets in the yard because a father and son are grilling together.
Well, Dad, it looks like this is the last one.
Oh, you're just getting started, Bobby. You'll be grilling your whole life.
Just like you.
Yep.
Yep.
It looks like this is the last one? Fuck out of here, that shit is so hard. My favorite thing, right, is how the camera pans out to an overview of Arlen, just like how the series starts with a pan in. And yup is both the final word ever said in this entire show and the first word ever said in this entire show.
Yep.
King of the Hill also has a separate safe finale from a few years before this, Lucky and Luann's wedding. That's why literally every character is there. There was actually a scene that was cut where Hank pretty much says the entire series happened in a year.
Boy, I can't believe it was just a year ago that Luann's mama stabbed her daddy with a fork and she moved into our house.
What's cool about this one, right, this deleted scene, is that it ends with Hank swatting a mosquito, just like how he does when the show starts too. Stuff like this, right, is the easiest way to emotionally manipulate me. Finale could be dog shit, but do a callback to the pilot, I'm on your dick for life. No pause either, nigga, it's Pride Month. The season finale of the 3rd season of the Boondocks was one that I always kind of felt was a safe series finale too. It's going down. Huey's status as a domestic terrorist was always something that was just kind of happening in the background in the show. This one brings it forward and focuses on what happens when they actually go after Huey. But it is also super fucking stupid. This might be some of the dumbest television I've watched in a while, and I mean that as a good thing.
I remember when these shits first came out, man. Bitches would be coming up to you like, let me see that iPhone. Let me play with it. Let me stick it up my ass.
This is like a parody of 24. This white guy keeps kicking people in the nuts. He got kind of like a vendetta because all his girls keep blowing up. I do not understand this man's pain.
Jesus fucking Christ, that's terrible, Jack. He tied her to a missile? What kind of deranged Wile E. Coyote shit is that?
This part where Ruckus is kicking this white man in the nuts is some real series finale shit right here. You know this show was over if he was able to get to this point.
Ruckus, wait!
Taking something going on throughout the whole show, escalating it and putting the two opposite characters next to each other for 30 minutes. I think that's a really cool way to end a show like this. And I've always really appreciated this ending beat. This show practically turned itself up to 100 in the 3rd season. All these fights and just like big looking scenes. But this last bit after all the action with Huey, Riley, and Granddad has like this like comic strip quality to it that really brings the show back to its roots.
Man, Huey, you were really right this time. You said it was going to happen, and it happened. Imagine all the problems we could avoid if we ever started listening to you. Oh well!
I don't think I like the 4th season. I don't think I'm as hard on it as everyone else. I do like that Pretty Boy Flizzy episode.
Don't you ever question whether or not I beat Christiana. I whooped that bitch's ass.
But I actually do think its worst crime is that they didn't do another safe finale. The show just kind of ends on some bullshit now. But to be honest, I would not want to end this series with anything on this roster. Not even a shuffle could fix this one. Granddad dates a Kardashian? I think that's the thing I'm the most afraid of with that new Futurama and King of the Hill. What if the new finale, whenever that comes, isn't as good because these are admittedly super high bars? In a lot of ways, right, I think a new successful series finale from these shows would justify them coming back in a really big way. But if they don't meet the bar, I don't know, niggas will be mad, I guess. I think in a perfect world, adult animated series get the chance to end on their own terms, even if they're canceled. I'd give a nigga my left rib for a sit down, shut up finale. That should show you how much I value my ribs. I only talked about a few finales this time around. I made this video in like 5 minutes based on finales that I've seen and remembered. There's still a lot I haven't seen, so let me know a few of your favorites in the comments. I just wanted to talk about some that stuck out to me. Look, like I said, dude, kids' cartoons get all the damn endings. Join me in How to Die, Junior. Fuck them kids, nigga.
Anyway, please donate to my pilot.
Do something when you get hit. What the fuck was that?
First things first, I popper freaks all the honeys, dummies, playboy bunnies, those wanting money. Those the ones I like, cause they don't get Nathan but penetration. Unless it smells like sanitation. Garbage, I turn like doorknobs. Heartthrob never, black and ugly as ever. However, I stay Coochie down to the socks. Rings and watch filled with rocks. And my jam knocking your Mitsubishi. Girls pee-pee when they see me. Navajos creep me in they teepee. As I lay down laws like Island Coppet. Stop it if you think you're gonna make a profit.
You the goat, Mama D, and you the cat, you so good.
Yes. Then split it in two as I flow with the Junior Mafia. I don't know what the hell's stopping ya. I'm clocking ya, Versace shade watching ya. Once you grin, I'm in, game begins. First I talk about how I dress is this and diamond necklaces, stretch Lexuses. The sex is just immaculate from the back I get.